Welcome to the Zach on Leadership Podcast. I'm your host, Zach Hughes. Today's episode is entitled For the Love of Robots. It had been 5 years since I coached a competitive LEGO robotics team. 5 long years. What could possibly have changed? From 2017 through 2020, I coached a LEGO robotics team through 3 seasons, 2 of which climaxed with appearances at the state championships. Those were some great years, and they inspired many blog articles. You can check them out with links in the show notes. But then COVID hit, and that changed everything. Also, shortly after that, all of the kids on the team aged out. It took a little while, but eventually a new generation of kids were ready for the challenge. Before I get into that, I recognize that some of you have no idea what LEGO Robotics is. Allow me to introduce you briefly. This is a competitive team sport for 9 to 14-year-olds. There are over 32,000 teams in the first LEGO League in 88 countries and over 600 teams in Minnesota alone. Each season, every team in the league receives the same tournament board. Teams design, build, and program their robots to score points on the tournament board. The robots must be designed to operate autonomously. You can read more about it with some links I've got in the show notes. This fall, we offered robotics as a class and an extracurricular activity in our homeschool co-op. I volunteered to teach and coach. Our team is called the Pladiators. Parents in the co-op enrolled 11 students aged 10 to 13. 2 of them, Josiah and Elizabeth, are mine. Last time around, I only had 5 to 6 students, and I knew them well. While I coached them for 3 years, when I started, the team had already been together for 2 years prior. Now I have 11 newbies, with varying degrees of enthusiasm and interest in the sport of competitive robotics. Rotational assignments. In our first meeting, I explained the rules of the game. I asked the students if they had more interest in mechanical engineering, software engineering, or research. Of course, they raised their hands for various specialties, but I later realized how silly that was. They had no idea. It was my responsibility to create opportunities for each of them to learn and experience the various tasks associated with competitive robotics. I set up a rotational assignment schedule and observed aptitude, enthusiasm, and performance. Think about the leadership lesson in this. At work, we hold our team members accountable for the jobs they sign up for. On one hand, we should. On the other hand, sometimes our team members have no idea what they are good at. It doesn't matter if they are 25 or 55. Leaders have a responsibility to give our team members opportunity to stretch and try new skills. You never know when you'll unlock a new, never-seen-before level of performance. Legacy technology. To save on costs and to leverage my previous experience, we dusted off the old robotics equipment that we used 5 years ago. It all still worked, and I taught the students how to design and build on that platform. This platform is called the Mindstorms EV3. It came out in 2013 and officially went end of life back in 2022, but it's still totally legal for use at official tournaments. Spike Prime came out in 2021 during my hiatus to succeed the EV3 platform. The Pladiators had their first regional qualifier tournament last weekend. We showed up and competed against 44 other teams. I figured there would be a mix of platforms in use, but I was wrong. Looking around the event, I saw only one other team run an EV3. Everyone else was running Spike Prime. I was surprised at how quickly the world had moved on. When we got to the robot design judging session, my eager students opened up their laptop to show the judges their code. And one judge squinted his eyes like he had just seen COBOL after not seeing it for 30 years. Watching from the sidelines, I thought to myself, uh-oh. Fortunately, the kids didn't miss a beat. They confidently talked through their code and design. They all knew it wasn't the latest and greatest tech, but it was theirs, and they were proud of it. My daughter Elizabeth explained our Kanban technique, which definitely made an impression. What were the results? Well, they rocked it. They put up the second highest performance score in their division. They won the Programming Award and won the Champions Award for being well-rounded across disciplines. What's the leadership lesson here? At work, we have a vast portfolio of technology. Some of it is fancy and new, other parts are not new at all. It's natural for the teams running legacy technology to look over at the teams running new technology with a bit of envy. As leaders, we set the tone. We shouldn't let legacy technology degrade. Instead, we should set high expectations for everyone, regardless of the age of their tech stack. Then teams can have pride in their work, knowing they've taken what they have and made it as good as it can be. Leadership moments. I mentioned earlier that my team was double the size of my previous team, and all new. Going into that situation, I knew I needed some help. Me and my co-coach, Amanda, enlisted the help of our sons, who were alumni of the original Gladiators team years ago. Her son, Micah, mentored in mechanical engineering. My son, Caleb, mentored in software engineering. It was great to see them pass on the legacy of competitive robotics to their younger siblings and their teammates. There was another moment that made me particularly proud. When the team competes, they are on their own. Coaches and mentors are on the sidelines and cannot direct or interfere. Kids being kids, they were rowdy and chaotic heading into their final performance match. My youngest son, Josiah, assertively spoke up and got his teammates' attention, focused everyone on their agreed-upon roles for the final match, and then got to work. Later that day at the awards ceremony, we found out that the Gladiators season would continue as they advanced to the sectional round. It was a magical moment. It was the moment when I saw in their eyes that they caught the bug. They fell in love with competitive robotics. Go Gladiators. This so eloquently parallels our roles as technology leaders. There's too much going on for us to direct it all, so we need to develop leaders within our teams and let them figure it out. In the end, we can't directly control the outcome, but we can set up our teams for success. And when they succeed, we can be right there with them celebrating. With a little luck, our leadership efforts can become a virtuous cycle that is self-replicating. That's the best case scenario, and I got to experience that with a brilliant group of young engineers last weekend. That's all for this week's episode of the Zach on Leadership Podcast. Thanks for listening.